Hey, Griffin, this documentary has got the BNP banged to rights, hasn't it?
No, it hasn't at all. It's got a tiny part of the BNP, which is being run by one of our opponents. It's got them banged to rights.
So they're not representative, are you saying, of the entire past?
They're certainly not representative. For instance, we're talking about two council candidates who said the most disgusting things, and we've expelled them both. But the opposition plant who was running this operation admits on the programme that we had 10 other candidates who were good, decent people who he put off.
Michael Howard says that you are a bunch of thugs dressed up as a political party. Anyone watching this documentary would think he's right.
Obviously, that's the intention from the BBC, but it's an extraordinarily dishonest documentary. It's made with a huge amounts of typical BBC spin and outright provocation, and really the people we should be looking at are the BBC producers who've made this outrageous programme.
You're not saying that these people didn't say the things they said. You're not saying, for example, that one of those people campaigning for your party admits on tape that he put excrement through the doors of an Asian business. He did do that, didn't he?
These people did this. He's already been expelled. But we have very little doubt. Sensible activists in Bradford have been saying for several months now, look, this man is a liability, there's something wrong with him, we should sack him. The only reason he was still involved in the party was that the Bradford organiser, who was working for a far-left organisation as a mole, kept him on. He's not representative of us. He's representative of the kind of people that they want us to be. And we sacked him.
I understand that the producers dispute that, but another member that you expelled, Steve Barkham, admits that he beat up an Asian.
And we've expelled him. Again, it's outrageous. Steve Barkham is not in the least bit representative. And the real issue with Steve Barkham case is here is a very angry young man. He was ethnically cleansed from Heaton, where he used to live with his family, by elements of the young Muslim community. He's very angry. He gets involved. And the BBC and the BBC journalist and the person who's operating as a mole within the BNP take him under their wing, pour vast amounts of lager down his throat, and then go about provoking him time and time again.
Even if what you say is true, and I know that the BBC journalist responsible would dispute this, there's no amount of lager poured down anyone's throat that would make them admit that they beat up an Asian person just because they're Asian.
No, I think it's absolutely disgraceful. This is why we've expelled him. But again, they spent 6 months with him. This is two far cleverer people than him. They spent 6 months. We've this afternoon lodged a official complaint with Bradford Police over the fact that the BBC journalist at one stage took this angry young man to one side, gave him a few drinks, and was actually saying to him that what do you think about the idea of making a bomb and putting it in a rubbish bin outside the mosque in Carlisle Street on a Friday afternoon just as they're all coming out of prayers. Now, for a BBC journalist to say that to an angry young man is the most disgraceful piece of provocation. What if he'd gone ahead and done that? How many people would have been killed? The BBC would have been to blame.
We have no evidence that what you're saying is correct, and obviously the police will investigate it. But the clear point here is about the conduct of your members. Why have you not expelled Stuart Williams, who said, shoot Packies, that's all I want to do is shoot Packies, I'm waiting for war? Why haven't you thrown him out?
We've expelled 3 people already. He's likely to be thrown out, but the others were actually involved in clear admissions of illegality. What he has admitted, what he said, is he described it as a dream. It's a juvenile, revolting dream, but it's not direct illegality. He's entitled to a tribunal first. I expect then he'll be expelled.
So when he says he wants to sit outside mosques with a rocket launcher, my dream is to have a transit van with a machine gun in the back with about 1 million bullets to open fire on people coming out of the mosque on Friday. What do you think when you hear those words?
I think it's absolutely appalling. I've no doubt that he's been pushed by the BBC agent provocateur. What's your dream? What's your dream? What's your dream? I think it's disgraceful and appalling, and certainly he's facing a disciplinary tribunal. He will never again stand for us as a candidate. But again, we didn't pick him as a candidate. He was picked by Andrew Sykes, who's been working for the far left and in effect the Labour Party for the last 2 years. He wasn't our choice of a BNP candidate, he was our opponent's choice.
You seem to be extraordinarily unlucky in the people who join your party if they are putting excrement through doors, beating up Asian people and talking about their dream of a race war.
No, on the contrary, we've got about 10,000 members of the party. The BBC went to our most dedicated opponent, Searchlight, who said we've got a man in one branch, he's got hundreds of members in his branch, and he's been able to pick 2 or 3 bad apples that we don't know about. I can't control who's in the party.
Well, how many bad apples have we got? How many bad apples are there in the party?
Now we've got 3 fewer than we had earlier on, which at least is a start.
But how many are they?
I don't think there are many others. There's bound to be some, because Searchlight has an almost limitless budget. It's It's in many ways financed by the British state, by the National Lotteries Commission and so on in various ways, and they can pay various crooks and criminals and racist bigot down and outs to join us to give us a bad name.
Do you, therefore, unreservedly apologise for the offence caused by what they have said and what they have done on behalf of the party that you lead?
Absolutely, yes.
You have no hesitation.
That's why we've expelled them.
And you're happy to apologise to the Muslim community in particular, who take grave offence of this?
Yes, indeed. There's no defence at all for what those people say.
Now, in the film, you make a speech in which you twice admit breaking the law. Would you like to apologise for your own conduct?
No, because the law is an ass. A law which says that when you see a building with smoke pouring out of it, you can't shout fire, you can't give a warning, is a bad law. And that is what these various restrictions on free speech, that's precisely what they are. We're facing, with the progressive Islamification of the West, the total transformation, destruction of our civilization within the next few decades, and we're warning about it, and the government's trying to throw us in jail. I don't apologise for speaking out.
So just to be clear on this, you accept that you have broken the law, but you think it's a stupid law, so it doesn't matter.